Hello, welcome to Geeks and Gaijins. I'm your Gaijin, Jon.
And I'm the geek, Tom.
Indeed, I'm also a geek, but we'll get over that. And welcome to Geeks and Gaijins. There's only one of each of us. But here we will talk about, probably for the next half hour or so, about Japan-related things that also may be anime, if we've actually watched any.
Which some of us have.
But yeah, so this week, things happened. If you have listened to last week, which of course you should, because it was actually a banger of a podcast last week.
Top tier. Absolutely 100%.
Top tier sports day related podcast. For those who haven't, go listen back to it, because it was actually quite a fun one, talking about what all the difference are. It's like sports day in Japan. But I had that sports day. I was there. And I was, without my knowledge, when I turned up that day in my full suit and tie, I turned up and was jollily informed by the head of PE that would I like to join the staff basketball team. I was like, sure, but I only got a shirt and no shoes. And he's like, oh, what size are you? And I'm like, Japanese sizes is different to the UK. So he tried on my sandals and they were the same size, so he lent me a pair of his shoes. Therefore, I rolled up my trousers when the time came with my short sleeve shirt, and I took off my tie, and I, as a manly man, went to go play basketball against 17-year-old Japanese girls.
Nice. And how'd that go for you, John?
We drew. We did, due to the fact the other teachers are actually good at basketball. Basketball's popular over here.
Good job. Congratulations. Don't think you've ever played a game of basketball in your life, so good job.
I think we played it in PE like 7 years ago, maybe.
So basically never.
I was okay with blocking them because, surprisingly, I'm bigger than a 17-year-old Japanese girl. But trying to shoot for the hoops, was like, everyone would be shouting, shoot though! I'm like, no. I did it occasionally and we missed all of them, except the social studies teacher and one of the IT teachers was really good at basketball. And they're like, oh, you don't play basketball in the UK. No, because I'm 5'6". And in Japan, that's average height. In the UK, it is not. No.
Not even close.
No. I will acknowledge, due to like the staff, we were playing with a handicap. We were one less player, but so many of the points was just one of the male teachers blocks the kids throwing in the basketball heap, throws it down the court over the girls' heads, and then the other guy dunks it.
Nice. Very nice.
Though the headmaster, the Kocho sensei got a couple of good hits in, which was good. And I just ran around like a madman with shoes that didn't fit properly in a white shirt, running up and down. A lot of kawaiis was said that day.
Aww.
Yeah, that's what the kids do. It's because my school's mostly girls. Therefore, whenever they see me or do anything that is not just stand, and even then, it would be like, oh, hello, kawaii. It's like I have an echo that follows me, which is doing great for my like personal confidence. It's like, yeah, whatever I do, I'm bloody cute as hell. Yeah.
I could do with some of that. That sounds great. It's nice to know you're popular.
Yeah, this is how you combat depression. You just get a group of Japanese girls to follow you around and just burst into laughing that you're not sure if it's mocking or not. Probably not. And we're getting massively sidetracked, but there we are. But basketball, baseball, softball, those things are very popular in Japan. They are the most popularist of the sports. There are even many animes, including Kokoro no Basket and other ones that I can't name because I couldn't be bothered to do research.
Yeah, no, I don't watch sports anime either. What was the last time I watched a sports anime?
I watched Megalo Box, which was really good.
That was it. That was probably it.
Which is a boxing anime, if you couldn't tell. It's really good. If you like just a 13-episode like very basic sports tournament boxing.
I think
anime.
you're underselling the 13-episode hype train that is Megalo Box. It is a show comprised almost entirely out of hype.
Yeah, which it doesn't really live up to at the end.
It just keeps building up hype all the way to the last 10 minutes and then has no more hype to build. And then realizes, that's all we have, folks.
There's not even like a drop. It's just kind of like, oh, so there is no hype. Or is there hype?
It's over.
What? Wait, what? What's going on? Oh, okay. It's kind of confused. You end up with a kind of confused of like, I guess that was good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an anticlimax. But the thing is, it brought me so high all the way up to the anticlimax that the damage the anticlimax does still leaves me at a point which is really high on the hype level.
Yeah.
So that's still a really good show.
Megalo Box, watch it if you want just a really good boxing anime with really nice like 2D art that's very classic style. It's meant specifically to look very classic in style. So Megalo Box, 13 episodes, go go go. But there's basketball anime, there's baseball anime. It seems to be basically American sports are really popular here that aren't American football because American football is rubbish. Come at me. And also, most Japanese people are the size of me, which is not good. It was like, we need a quarterback in here. Cue the 5'8" tallest boy in the year. No, there are lots of very tall Japanese kids, but they're all extremely gangly. They are the gangliest.
Yeah, I imagine that Japanese basketball is very different from US basketball.
I have no idea. I don't watch either, though I do know that Kobe Bryant is named after the city of Kobe. And that's why they're spelt the same.
Neat.
And also why everyone says Kobe wrong. In a sports-related story, however, if Tom is ready for another story time, and so is our listeners.
I'm always down for story times from you, John.
Well, this one of... I think the main question is, of course, we are both British. We're ridiculously English in the fact that we call ourselves British and not English. I had the unenviable task that I placed upon myself to attempt to explain cricket to a Japanese supply teacher.
And how did that go for you, John?
Okay, so first he is an English teacher, so he does understand English.
Good. That helps.
Yes. Though mostly, we were more going to, like, what are the big sports in the UK, because, like, my high school, because basketball and baseball and stuff are so big, like, my high school that I work at doesn't even have, like, a boys' soccer team. It has a girls' soccer team. They're really good. We don't have a boys' soccer team, because none of the boys want to play soccer.
What a twist.
Indeed.
It's very twisty.
Some of the first years are very good at soccer, so we might end up having one. But, yeah, we have a traditional Japanese archery team and not a boys' soccer team.
That's wild.
But no, so we were talking about, well, in the UK, you play, like, football in the autumn and the spring, rugby in the winter, and then probably cricket in the summer. And it's like, oh, what is cricket? This became a 30 to 40-minute conversation, which included diagrams.
But anyway, tell us more. Carry on.
Essentially, cricket, for those who don't know, is the best sport and is baseball, but better, and also takes place over 5 days, or 3 matches of 5 days. And at the end of those 15 days, possibly of play, the rain happens and it's a draw. That I think is the most English joke I've ever made.
Yeah. It's pretty damn English.
Yeah, it's essentially, for American listeners, it's essentially baseball, but you run between 2 spots and the guys are trying to hit a stick balanced on top of 3 little sticks instead of just hit it past the guy. That's kind of it. And the points, and people can throw a certain amount of balls. Basically, this somehow became an explanation of the Ashes and how many people want a cricket team, what makes a good cricket team, why do we play cricket, what places are good at cricket. Japan's not good at cricket, which came to me. I'm thinking cricket anime. I want a cricket anime. Also, Japan would be terrible for cricket because in the summer here, it's too goddamn hot to go outside. And if you're just there sitting like in the sun all day, you can't really have a picnic because it's too hot. So, and in the spring and stuff, it would just be like, I don't know, everyone be distracted by the cherry blossoms too much to play cricket. I don't understand. But no, you essentially need the 5 days of British summer where it is sunny to play cricket in, when it is also not too hot. I don't know how Pakistanis and Indians deal with it, but
the majority of the countries we play cricket against are significantly hotter than England. So I think there shouldn't be too much of an issue there.
And usually, apart from the massive anomaly at time of recording, usually much better than us as well.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe the quality of cricket performance is proportional to how well they can endure heat. So maybe if you ever teach the Japanese how to play cricket, they'll become just gods.
Maybe. Though I think it would be fun of some kind of cricket anime where you have each of the different days is like the different part of the arc of like, no, can we make that comeback? Then you have the important people in the team who are the bowlers and the batters, and can they run? And they're trying to do like projections of where it should be hit. And you have inexplicably people who are not Japanese speaking perfect Japanese. And then you'll have that like foreign exchange kid from like India who is somehow amazing, though there is only one kid from India in the entire thing about cricket. And then there'll be like 3 English people, and it's like, the thing is, Japan was the best all along at cricket. I would not be against watching that. Like, Madhouse, hire me. Madhouse cricket anime.
Oh my god! Well, I'm pretty sure Madhouse has just finished up making a baseball anime, so
exactly. Well. Just change the bats. It's fine. They're Japanese. They don't know what cricket is.
Actually, even better. Don't even bother making a whole new one. Just take a baseball anime and change how the bat and the ball looks, and you're golden.
Exactly. Welcome to reskinning the anime way. We are the anime doctors, Geeks and Gaijin style. You want a cricket anime? Just reanimate the entire thing. It will be fine. We know what we're talking about. Get the Koreans on it. They make great stuff. They do, but also it's like most of American animation side is now made in Korea, which is like most of the animation is done in South Korea. Like loads of the animations for The Simpsons is done in South Korea, which I really didn't know.
Huh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's like lots of animation houses in South Korea at the moment. But no, speaking of American anime, because what a sideway, because American can make anime now, I watched all of season 1 of Castlevania on Netflix. So please applaud me, because that's a whole 4 episodes.
Yeah. Well, you had to endure an English dub, so congratulations.
English dub that is the original and yet somehow still feels like an English dub. I mean, they got it spot on.
It's authentic.
It's authentic in feeling weird. But what did you think of it first? Because you've already seen it and you've got it in the terms of hindsight, because I've also not seen season 2 either. So.
Oh man, I saw season 1 ages and ages ago, and I remember being absolutely just enthralled by how good the pilot was.
Mm-hmm.
Just
the pilot is great. For those who don't know, Castlevania is a series of video games by Konami, is about fighting Dracula in a big castle. It's where the term Metroidvania comes from, and is essentially one of the biggest game series of all time. And it's just about knights fighting vampires with magic. It's really normal. Made by Konami. And also, by the way, did you know that, Tom, in Japan, Konami does not just make video games and pachinko machines. It also owns gyms.
I'm sorry, what?
My local gym is a Konami gym.
I'm sorry, what?
If I go to the swimming pool, I go to the Konami swimming pool.
Okay. Wait, what?
The entire 4th floor of my local mall is the Konami Sports Center for my city.
I can't wrap my head around this. Why is this a thing? Why is it like Konami themed or anything? Is it just a regular gym?
No, it's just Konami is a business and it's a regular gym. And Konami has brand name, so Konami owns gyms now.
Why does Konami own gyms? Why? How is that important? Why? How does that make any sense?
I don't know, but it's advertised on the outside of the mall.
What?
Konami Sports Center. It's not only a gym, it's a gym and apparently has a swimming pool as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know Konami has made some weird decisions about its brands and IPs and financial decisions in general recently, but I was not aware that they just had a side gig in leisure centers. That's news to me.
Yes. And so whilst Tom's brain is broken, I'll talk about the first series of Castlevania. It's very good. It's very bloody. It's an entire new kind of thing of, this is adult animation. This is like, them young adults are watching those animes. We want a piece of that pie. And they've done it pretty well. Like, the animation is rather nice. The action scenes are good. Some of it seems really stilted, which hopefully when they got more money to do the second season, that'll be slightly fixed. And also I was talking with Tom about this earlier, like, the comments I made earlier of it still feels like somehow a dub, that somehow they've placed, like, the character's mouth moves at this point. He has to say some kind of weird quip that doesn't fit with the scene. And also the writing is just kind of there. Like, some of the voice acting is good, but also, like, you just have Richard Armitage just, like, talking to himself, or to be honest, Dracula's pretty good. Dracula's reliably good. But also, I just found out that Alucard, who's, spoiler alert, Dracula's son, because Alucard is Dracula backwards, he's voiced by the guy who plays Bridget Jones's gay best friend, which is slightly disconcerting for someone who is both a lover of rom-coms and Western-made anime. It just makes Alucard seem extremely non-threatening. It's just like, hello. And it's like, okay, you're just a strange, sparkly man. But no, it's fun. I'm excited to watch season 2, which I wasn't when I started watching season 1. It essentially feels like a Berserk anime. Berserk is a series that got a terrible anime adaptation, and it's very bloody and very, like, gritty, which is quite fun that they're not being, it's a video game, so it must be for kids.
Yes, that's nice. And if you loved the witty one-liners of season 1, I hope you're looking forward to witty banter full of season 2.
Oh God, no! They've all teamed up, haven't? Oh no! Oh no!
Personally, as a man with absolutely zero taste, I really do love the humor in Castlevania. So, I mean, I've got no complaints.
It's not that it's not funny, it just feels massively tonally dissonant as a baby is torn apart by demons.
Yes, there is that. There is some tonal distinctions between Trevor drunkenly bumbling around the countryside and everyone else suffering horrible, horrible fates at the hands of vampire Armageddon.
Yeah, it's also the kind of thing of people go, anime does it where they have weird tonal plot twists. Usually that's episode to episode. Usually you'll have a serious episode with a couple of funny bits in it, and then, like, a funny episode that doesn't usually have serious bits. Like, they're usually good at mixing tone. This just feels like I got hit by a clown in the middle of, like, a Holocaust documentary.
Yeah.
Because let's burn the witch. Also, here's a funny man getting kicked in the testicles.
Yes. That whole exchange in the bar is a whole. It's a weird little treasure trove of weird and wrong and, quite frankly, disgusting.
And that's our introduction to our main character. And with that, I think it's time to snack break. That I've actually been snacking on throughout this. If you've been hearing my horrible slurping sounds, I do apologize, because I'm going to be healthy this week. And it means it's time for a theme tune, which we're going to go snack break. So you even had instruments this time.
I'm loving these musical interludes. They're getting better every week.
It's come back several years' time. It's just somehow became some kind of orchestral interlude. It's like, we still only have about 5 listeners. How did you afford this?
The secret is we can't. But we've got to do it for the fans.
The fans. You mean the people who enjoy the podcast? No, I've just bought a huge amount of fans off Amazon. That's what's making all the noise.
It's how you get through summer in Japan.
Indeed, God, it really is. With the aircon, the aircon, which is Japanese for air conditioner. Thomas, would you like to ask me what the snack break is this week? Because you did not send me anything to get, so I'm being low calorie.
John, what is for the snack break this week?
This week, what I've just finished is Mugi-cha.
What is Mugi-cha, John?
Would you like to try and guess what Mugi-cha is? In this well-rehearsed segment that we are talking like human beings.
I'm guessing it's obviously a beverage of some description because you've been slurping it, unless you've been doing something ungodly with some other form of food. So I'm going to guess it's a type of tea.
Indeed, because cha means tea in Japanese. That's why you have matcha, and in Japanese, just general tea is ocha. And Western-style tea or brown tea is kocha. But Mugi-cha is barley tea. Barley tea. Mm. You can drink it hot or cold. You can get it. I sound like I'm selling Mugi-cha. Have I got a deal for you? Here, we got this tea bag of barley. It's got no caffeine. You can have it hot or cold. And generally, it's really nice. But no, it's very popular in Japan, mostly in the summer. You drink instead of water because it has like electrolytes and things in it. But also you can have it hot in summer. I just have a bunch of tea bags because they're really, really cheap. You can actually get this in the West. You can actually get this at mostly like Japanese style restaurants and things, but it's really expensive. Whereas I think for about 80 tea bags, and they're huge, that would probably do they could probably do about half a liter of Mugi-cha each if I actually wanted to make a huge amount. I probably paid about 200, 300 yen, which is about the equivalent of £2.50 for about 80 tea bags. It's really good, and it's low caffeine, and I should drink more of it. Well, it's no caffeine. There's no caffeine in it at all, because it's mostly just roasted barley. And it's very popular here in Japan, and it's totally the wrong time of season for it, which is why I'm drinking it hot. But it's very popular. Do try it if you have a chance. Mugi-cha. Mugi-cha. Or in my best Japanese announcer voice. Mugi-cha.
That was pretty good, actually. I think you nailed that one.
On the subject of snacks, Tom, do you want to talk about some snacky anime? Or popcorn-style anime?
Yes. As I've said before, I am quite a big fan of Japan's cute anime sections. They're a pleasant addition to my seasonal binging. But when we did the rundown for last season, I had yet to find my cute anime for the season. I'm happy to inform everyone, though, that I have recently fixed that, and I found a nice little show from last season called The Demon Girl Next Door, which is available on High Dive for anyone who's interested.
What happens in the Demon Door Next Girl, Tom?
The premise of The Demon Girl Next Door is about a young girl who has recently awoken her demonic bloodline and is sent on a quest by her family to acquire the blood of a magical girl in order to undo a millennia-old curse that has been placed upon her family.
As you do.
Which sounds like it's going to be some sort of violent, dark action anime. And in fact, it's not even close to that. It's a really wholesome, really cute show about a strange, bizarre sort of rivalry / friendship growing between the demon girl Yuko and her magical girl target, quote unquote, Momo, as they sort of just have bizarre little adventures in both of them training and getting stronger and learning about each other's backstories and secrets, and generally forming a very nice, cozy bond with each other. And it was very nice. It was very wholesome. I had a great time with it. It's a little different from usual slice of life cutesy things. I wouldn't even call this a slice of life because it's a cute comedy with an actual plot attached to it, which is bizarre for this genre of anime. I know, it's crazy. There's so much plot to this anime, in fact, that there's enough material for them to work with to build a season 2 out of, which is something I don't usually get the feeling when I finish one of these shows. But I was very impressed that they actually managed to do something worthwhile alongside being absolutely adorable.
Oh, that's nice.
Big fan of that.
What's the kind of style? There's a specific Japanese style, isn't it? It's called like the cute girl genre.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. This one specifically falls into an even weirder sub niche of that, which is, I can't remember what the name of it is, but one of the practices that some of these shows will take is, in order to eliminate as much of the worries and problems of the outside world and just make a pure distilled cute show, is they'll take out things that are usually quite common. So this show, like quite a few others, doesn't have basically any male characters in it whatsoever for some reason, apart from, I think, Yuko's dad, who's barely there, Momo's cat, and maybe a dog. They're the only male characters in this show, which is bizarre, but also works just fine for what it's going for.
Kind of, I think it's called Moe, generally.
The overall look we're going for is Moe, which is cute. I think is the general translation or something like that.
Kawaii is the direct translation of cute. Moe is that kind of like...
You're correct.
They make the girl really cute of like, she must be protected, but she's also just really cute and is just, but also kind of strong as well. It's a kind of like, it's a strange, because it doesn't really exist outside of Japan. This kind of like...
No, yeah. This sort of calm, relaxing, sort of healing anime type thing is... it's a genre that doesn't really exist over here, so it was very bizarre when I first encountered it. But I quickly became a massive fan, which is probably partly because the first show I watched that was of this genre was Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, which is just a great gateway drug for anime. All things considered,
it's about an office programmer who saves the life of a dragon and therefore repays her by becoming her maid.
It's great. This show, I would not.
And her cute dragon friends come along to help her.
Yes, all the dragon friends are cute. Absolutely every single one of them. Even Fafnir, especially Fafnir.
Fafnir is bro cute. He's my cute bro.
Top tier. I wouldn't put Demon Girl Next Door as quite as good as Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, but it is pretty good.
It's not it doesn't give you eternal life and happiness, so it really can't.
I mean, it's a steep mountain to climb there on trying to achieve the godliness that is Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Also, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is pretty damn gay, whereas Demon Girl Next Door is only ever so slightly gay. It's got significantly gay undertones, but that's about it. Which shouldn't be as much of a selling point as it is for me, but apparently it is.
Chilling
so
in a
I'll roll
hot
with
tub, 3 feet apart, because they're not gay.
Yeah, it's shows a little bit of queer bait. Which is Demon Girl Next Door. Which is
also kind of weird, because also like Japan doesn't have same-sex marriage. It's the only G7 country, G7, G10, G20 country, not G20. It's one of the only G8 countries that doesn't have like gay marriage, and it's kind of like, it's a bit weird. Like the young generation are kind of catching on to it. Is like this is okay now. Like a lot of people see Japan as like, oh, anime is so breathtaking, and like progressive. But a lot of the things about anime is actually like, a lot of it is a response to a culture that is extremely oppressive and extremely like confined. So when like all the imagination and things of anime, they are a response to something. So they tend to be the more liberal kind of arty people, which is the same like you get in Hollywood as well. Like Hollywood is much more liberal than like most of America, you could safely say. And it's the same kind of thing for anime and things. Like, even though it is extremely popular, it's like a kind of acceptable thing.
Yeah, I mean, you've got different layers to anime, because obviously you'll have that sort of mainstream popularity where you get it all over all big posters and screens in the major cities showing things like My Hero Academia and stuff like that. But it's not all of it is acceptable all the time. There's still quite a lot of sub niches in anime that isn't quite nearly as mainstream, just like as you have with some things.
There's also a generally very weird association with Japan and family, the importance of and relation with homosexuality. The fact that generally being gay before like the Western ideals wasn't, I'm not an expert on this, but was still seen as like for lords and things was fine, as long as you still like you have a family and you like your responsibility is still to have a family, that what you actually enjoy doing, we really don't care. Which is kind of like, is why there's also which is why it's also okay you have a bunch of extremely like very close brotherly love things which don't become explicitly like sexual, but are also maybe kind of implied. And it's very confusing of like what is acceptable and what is not, because
family dynamics as expressed in anime get weird very quickly.
Also just Japan, that like being openly homosexual in Japan is not big. It's not really done, though. It's kind of like, it's the kind of thing of, oh, everything behind closed doors. It's the kind of thing of like some people work with people their entire lives and not know like how many kids the other worker has or something. It's just a kind of thing of like, oh, that's a work person. I talk to work person about work things. I was like, oh, I understand that, but also like in the West we see that as quite impersonal. Alright, so it's strange.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the last time I saw a gay male character in an anime that wasn't ridiculously flanderized to the extreme.
Well, the original Evangelion had.
Oh, that is fair. There was the original.
Evangelion is still Evangelion, sorry, is huge. Is still huge. Like, people know what Evangelion. Blah, blah, blah. They know what it is. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. I think there's another show that's airing right now, actually, that I think's done this pretty well. I think it's Stars Align or something. I think it's just supposed to be presented as a tennis show, but I think it's more of a drama show. I think that's got some pretty decent representation there as well. Although I haven't watched it, so I wouldn't.
Well, that's nice. And on this extremely serious note of the importance of, which I really did not intend when we were going to be talking about Castlevania. But also...
now that we're done having two straight guys talk about gay representation in foreign countries' media.
Yay! Though I do live in that foreign country, so
You're a little more qualified.
Yeah, Tom, explain to me the gay agenda of Japan, now.
I don't know. I just like seeing cute girls be happy together, dude. Just
how dare you? And as we struggle up that hill, struggle up that mountain, do you know what would make it much easier to struggle up a mountain, Tom?
I imagine a number of things, but I don't know exactly what you're getting at.
I'm getting at trains.
Those do make things very, very much easier to go uphill.
As long as there's track. If there's no train tracks, it makes it, I would argue, much more difficult.
Incredibly so.
But yes. No, for some reason I realised I had an epiphany. I had an epiphanies today. Actually, a couple of days ago. But that's podcast magic. You don't need to know that. I had an epiphanies, and I realised anime has a lot of trains, like a not insignificant amount of trains. Like the last series of Kimetsu no Yaiba ended with them going to fight on a train, which is probably going to be the next.
which is going to be the entirety of the next movie, is going to be a train. Yes.
I've been making my way through Shokugeki no Soma, and the third series is just the Hokkaido train arc, or is the second half of it. Is all on trains. In No Gun's life, he punches a train. Generally, armored trains. Like Japanese anime loves trains. You also had an example when we were talking about this before, Tom.
One of them that I would immediately jump to is O Maidens in Your Savage Season, which had a character one of his main characteristics was loves trains, which is pretty great. Let's see. Oh yeah, and Violet Evergarden was pretty good. That had a whole arc about trains, with the train being incredibly important for the piece of the post-war country that Violet Evergarden is set in, which is definitely not post-World War I Austria. It's definitely not Austria at any point. It's definitely a different country. It's
actually Australia. It's very easy to get those two confused. The way you can tell is occasionally there's a koala in the corner of the screen. They like to hide beneath the snow. They're sometimes difficult to see.
That's how they get you. During winter, where there's no leaves on the trees for them to hide amongst, they have to come down to snow and grab you by your shins
instead.
And
the drop bears. But yes, trains. No, I spent a lot of times on trains recently due to the fact that trains here are really bloody slow. They're good and they're on time, but some of them can be really slow. And also some of them can be really fast, because bullet trains, which also have different names in Japanese. Like, this was trying to explain to some of my students that train is not a train, as in to train is to, like, try to get stronger, and not to try and chikatetsu something. Chikatetsu is the word for a train. Shinkansen is also train. Shinkansen are the bullet trains in it that look like, I think they're meant to look like a certain type of bird, and I don't know what.
Neat.
This is a segment. But yeah. Turns out the reason Japanese people look at trains or look at anime and go, "Ooh, we need trains," is because so many people every day in Japan use their train, or Tokyo is something. They have the insane amount of people on the JR line who just commute by train every single day. It's like the equivalent of the Underground in London. The thing is, it's only in really big cities, but a huge amount of Japan's population lives in really big cities. So for a large majority of, especially like the young working youth in Japan, it's just like, oh, I get on a train every day. Like, it's kind of like how loads of American films, it's like, oh, everyone's just driving a car everywhere. They just drive down the road. They just drove to get coffee. In which my person who lived in London for 3 years sitting on my going like, you could just walk there. It was like obviously only about 5 minutes.
No, not an option.
Well, we could.
Not in the US,
we could do that, John, but the thing is, there are no sidewalks. Why are there no sidewalks? Because the motor industry totally ruined this entire country's infrastructure and the development of trains in the transatlantic period, and so is only used for freight in the US? Yes.
You're thinking too hard about it. Don't question it.
Also, how about we go and privatize our rail system? Okay, fine, yeah. Oh, the UK has horrible rail systems as well. Japanese rail systems are pretty good. Most people use it. It's why anime. Lots of trains.
Good trains. We like trains over there.
On that train of thought. Oh. Oh. I think it's time to finish this week, Tom. I think that train is trailing off into the sunset, going choo choo choo.
I can't follow up.
And on that note, like us on all the social medias.
Good job.
They exist. We are Geeks and Gaijins, sometimes with ampersands on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube's, where the podcast is always uploaded.
And Spotify.
And iTunes. And generally, most places you can listen to podcasts, we're there. Also Podbean. Please like us and subscribe. and just generally, like, we're getting better. Promise. Promise.
Don't make promises you can't keep, John.
Well, I will. Gambare Aramas. I will do my best, Thomas. I promise. I will become the #1 hero. Oh, no, wait. I think I got sidetracked. Bye. Makaja. See you next week.
Bye-bye.